Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and I hope everyone's safe and sound. We're just taking off the genuine Scooters India sticker. Wow, genuine Scooters India, eh? I've got a brand spanking new gear kickstart pinion. The kit comes with new washers and that's the circlip on the kickstart shaft, which I won't need because I've already put one on, which you probably can't make out, but it's on there. If we start with the return spring for the clutch arm, you basically just put that down the arm. This cut out here on the top is where the bottom part of it goes into, and then you just use a screwdriver or fingers if you're strong enough. I'll probably need a screwdriver, which will be there, and just put it around the back and just bring it onto the lever like so, and get your screwdriver out of the way. So we've now got our return spring, which will keep your plunger back in there. See that? So we'll turn this over now, and again I'm going to have to put this in the vise in a second, but the plunger will go in. This screws in the side, holds it in position, and it's that I was telling you about that makes it come up and down, so it goes in and out on here. We will need a tad of Loctite on that, but just to start up, if I open the packet, we should have a spring, one spring, a circlip, one circlip, and a washer, which goes in that way. Basically you're going to captive, you need to captive the spring, and because it's an open hole, you're just going to put the circlip in that end, and just it goes into a cutout, and that is what the kickstart circlip, which goes on the opposite side on there. You can use normal circlip, but these actually hold the shims in place, so I'd recommend you use them. They're available from most scooter shops. Right, so I've turned my circlip pliers around, so pushing them closes it, and I'm hoping that they fit in underneath. If not, I'll do it from the top and push them down. I mean, that's something, yeah, it's not doing it that way, so I want it rough side towards me again. And what we'll do is we'll just use the plunger to push him in, which is that beastie, and just push that in with the wood. Maybe not, that seems a bit tight as well. Don't think that's in enough yet, so I'm just going to tap that again. It's so hard to actually see if that's home. I think that's home. Get some light on it. No, a tad more. That's it, I heard that clicking. Obviously we'd have done this normally with this drive out, and also as well what we need to do is put some grease on here. So right, we've got a round washer now which will slide in there, hopefully stand up. Yeah, and then we've got our spring, again greased up. Again, I won't go too mad on this because oil gets in everywhere when the engine's built and kicked over. So we've got 2 holes, it's the large one for the spring, and just grease up this mechanism and stick that in. And that's it. So when that kicks over, I mean, you've got to move it around yet. When it kicks over, before we do anything, I just need to put a bit of grease on here. What I'm probably going to do is just put this pin in now. So we need a bit of Loctite on it, just a tad on the threads. I'll push it in place, push the peg in, screw it in, and we'll just use our pliers just to tighten it. Right, I have got some, let's use that adjustable, so I do want it in nice and tight. Again, I don't want anything coming apart. That's it. Now our position in. So what I'm going to do now is just remove these bolts and this bracket, and then I'll just turn this around and put the bracket in, because it's basically 6 2/3. I was going to do it pushing it away, which you can do, you know, push it around, but then I need an assistant, which I haven't got. Two, and our third one. Like so. That's our 3 bolts. Take our bracket out of the way, and that's so much easier now to just slide that in and put our bolts in one by one. On paper anyway. Here you go. Started that one. The second one. Like I say, I'm not sure if I need to take some of these heads down yet. Because they are quite skinny heads that are on them. So I'll stick that in there. I know that when I do this one up anyway. that's cleared there, so hopefully they'll be all right. There's not a lot of gap round the back. We might just need to turn that a bit. So let's get this middle one in. And tighten down. Yeah, it's gone in. They're all in fine. See what I'm saying about the kickstart mechanism? We need it about there when it's unloaded. I'm going to put a bit more grease on there. All around that pin. You see now how the kickstart is engaged. That will bed in over a period of time. It's just tight at the moment. What I might be able to do is just turn that a little bit so that it's more on a rounded part. You got to remember the spring's all new, everything's all new. So when we've got our kickstart on, we want it about there in line. So what I'm going to do is with my pen is just mark where it is now on here. And then I'm going to mark where we want it, which is just there. So that's our side of our engine built up. Kickstart's on, our clutch levers in, all our breathers are in. If I grab hold of the engine now, I'm just going to bring the engine back and we'll put some oil in, etc. I mean, that grease is already falling off of there. But it will be fine. What we need to do now is to grease up our ferrule, our bush, phosphor bronze bush, and put it on the side of the engine. So give it some grease in there and put it on there. So it's got a cutout on there that goes around that way. There we are. And just put a dab of grease on the top, and also as well, I'd suggest you put a dab of grease on the clutch plate itself, just so they marry. Then what we need to do is I'll grab the engine and we'll be putting 650 to a litre of oil in here. Because it's open, it's dead easy to do now. I need about 150 mils left in it, so we just can pour it in anywhere. It'll work its way down. Let me see what I've got there. Still quite a bit. I'm looking for about there left over where my thumb is. I think we're getting close there. They recommend in the manuals about 500 ml, half a litre when you've got an engine that's been built. This engine is obviously not been built, so they recommend 650 to 700. I'm putting 7 in. Right, let's have a look at that. I think we just, yeah, that's perfect. That 700 ml's gone in there. Give that a wipe again. And we can take our side of our engine now. We've got all the bits on there, and that can go in on the top, and it should push down. Got no bolts in from memory. That's a good fit, isn't it? So we've got our mark there of where the kickstart mechanism is and where I want it to be when the kickstart's on. So we've got about, what, 4 or 5 mil play there, 2, 3, I'd say there's about about 2 centimeters play. So when you're putting your kickstart on, if you bring it down slightly, the spring should move back and just put some tension here and hold it up. The spring will pull it back anyway, but yeah, we're pretty good on there. Right, so I've got all the nuts and washers in place. So again, it's just a crisscross. There's no problem doing them around in a circle in my experience, but did I just check that the writing was up on there? I can't remember if I did. Yes, I did. Right, so we just lightly tighten them down at the moment. And do that by hand. Natural fact. I'll get out the screwdriver attachment again and just stick it on the end. It's just quicker than ratcheting them up. So I'm only doing them lightly. I'm not doing them up yet. Hope you can see it squeezing the gasket down. The two 8mm, 13mm heads, I'll do them as well, but they're going to come off for the exhaust the same as this one here, the long one. Like I say, I'm only doing them hand tight. Doesn't help when you've got greasy hands again. A bit of dust on there. I'll just do these hand tight again. And then we'll just go diagonally across, tightening them up. I'm just going to start with these two. There's, like I say, there's no reason for going mad. That one's tight. That one's tight. That one. That one. Like I say, when you put the 4 corners on, I think you can just go around and do them all one by one. Then when you've got them all done, just go over them again just to make sure that they are tight. As I say, that one there for the exhaust, not even worth tightening that up, to be honest. That one. that one. And because I've already got the gearbox oil in, I can turn the engine over and see if we get any coming out. So I'll just move you back a bit and put the engine over. For any oil around, I can't see any at the moment. I'm not expecting any, to be honest with you. It's all level, the engine was level, and so we can now polish that up when I get 5 minutes. But I'll leave it propped up overnight. The bump start can go in now that it's stood up. And again, you know, one tip I had from one of the subscribers was to put some hairspray on that and then push it in, and the hairspray, when it dries, acts as a grip, like a bit of glue. I've never used that on any engine rubbers, but I have on twist grip, so you know, it's a tip. There's our bump stop in situ. I say all of this is all good. We've got new brake shoes, all new nuts and bolts, and we've got no oil leaks at the moment. Oil's like water, it'll find its natural way out, so I'm going to leave this overnight and see if we get any oil down on here, which I very much doubt, to be honest with you. Lambretta engines are fairly good like that, so are Vespa. You use flat surfaces and decent gaskets and you're away. Like I say, that one's not tight because it's the loop that goes on the exhaust, and these two up here are the holders for the exhaust as well, unless you've got a Scorpion or something and you're starting to use these at the back. As I say, all we've got to do is turn that round slightly till we find up the mark. I can mark that up when I put a kickstart on it, and this can go in properly. It depends on, as I say, that's not in properly at the moment. It depends on how far the kickstart comes up. If it's engaging, then we need to just chop that down a bit. I've done that on a few scooters in the past. The rubber there where the kickstart stops on, if the kickstart's down slightly, obviously then the lever's up and it can engage with your gears, and you get that click 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 noise, or worse than that if you're revving it. High pitched whine is normally the end of this shaft on that side rubbing on the top of the clutch, but I've already done that mod, and we're free. When I tried it without, you know, without any spring in it, it wasn't rubbing. So that's not to say it won't rub when the engine's warm. It's like everything, sometimes you just have to suck it and see. But yeah, hey ho, we're all in business with that anyway. So I'll end this video here. Thanks again for watching, and onwards and upwards for the next one. Bye for now.